Right now I'm on 172nd by Soundview and Morrison. About to go meet up with my boy David from Flags Up. He's gonna show us around a little bit where he grew up, tell us about his company. Really dope company, got some dope clothing, and really helps with sharing the history of Puerto Ricans and Puerto Rican culture and all that. So we're gonna find out some more and see what's up.
Hey, what's up, man? This is David Aviles. I am here in 172nd and Morrison. I lived here, I grew up here in the first floor. There's nine windows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then these 2 windows was ours. And these gates weren't here. We used to sneak out of the window at all hours of the night. Our parents wouldn't know what's going on. We'd go to the donut shop, get a bagel, some sandwiches, then jump back into the window. And right here, it was the famous, I don't know if a lot of people don't know this game, but we used to play slugs here. We would have the whole block lined up to here, sometimes around the corner. So people would pass the ball here and keep continuing. Then the pump, you couldn't come to this block. If that pump was open and it was full-fledged open, we used to just wait for people or conceited girls that thought they were all that, and just wait for them to walk through here and they'll be in the pump. They had no other choice. They would get thrown in the pump. The can, they would put the can on the pump and the water would hit all the way over here into my best friend at the time, Kevin, and Melissa's windows. That was theirs. So my best friend, we were back to back here. Or summer in the Bronx, it was growing up, it was like nothing like you ever experienced. Everybody was just, this whole block was just full of like people hanging out in the stoops, hanging out in front of the stoops here. We would play manhunt, ring-a-ling, catch me, all type of skelsies in the middle of the block, in the middle of the street. There was a lot of activity. Like there was a real sense of community. Like people really took care of one another. It wasn't no jealousy, envy, hate. You had some of that a little bit, but overall, blacks, Hispanics, whites. There was Jewish people. When we moved here in '77, there was Jewish people here still. There was Italians. So we all got along together. There was never none of that racial tension in this block. The crime, when I was living here, it escalated in the mid '80s to the mid '90s, and one of the biggest reasons that happened was because of the crack epidemic. Because heroin was always around, but heroin was a drug where people would get their fix and then they go and chill out. When it came to crack, people would get high and they'll look for right as soon as they got high, they're looking for the next high. It was like a thing where they lost their mind. And when the crack epidemic hit here, people would be robbing from their mothers. They'll rob from anybody. They don't care. Even if they didn't want to, they would lose their minds. Cars were being broken into, people getting robbed everywhere. It was stick-up kids. You couldn't leave your car. You would have to that's where they had the Benzie boxes. So you had to take the radio and pull it out, not leave it in your car because that shit would be gone. And this right here, these are relatively new houses, but this wasn't here for a long time. This was all empty, and there used to be a bunch of rocks. So we used to come over here to play on the rocks. We used to get a little escape from being in the hood to come over here and play on the rocks. And they had a mattress where you would jump off the rocks, jump back onto the rocks, jump off into the mattress, jump back. And that was a big thing we created our own activities, you know what I'm saying? And I wish we had a picture. I would love for somebody to have a picture of that. So, the Bronx. You ain't gonna get this nowhere. This is Mr. Salty. There've been so many people imitating this, but this is the original. Mr. Salty. And they go hard. They go almost to the winter, and they come out early in the winter. Because the ice cream is playing this song. As soon as you hear it, all the kids are running down, coming out the park to get their ice cream. Right now, we're in Morrison Avenue in the baseball park. They renovated. They did some soccer fields over there. But right in this park right here and in this diamond, I used to play Little League for a team called Sugar Bowl. I was big into baseball, And a lot of our friends, back then, a lot of people went to sports. That was the thing. There wasn't no computers. There weren't other things to distract you. This was our games. I created the PR Frags Up group over 12 years ago for us to promote what we are. Because I'm tired of seeing our people as the side character, as the drug addict, as the cheating husband, the criminal. That's not the way life was. Hip hop, we was there in the beginning. We were all part of what the beginning of hip hop. We helped create it. We was there. Shout out to PR Dean in Brooklyn. He has an idea called the co-creators. We are the co-creators. We were there. The b-boys. You wouldn't have hip hop without b-boys, DJs, and there was a lot of MCs. And so the real people in hip hop know that. The real people that know those stories. You go to Bronx Silver and those Zulu anniversaries, it was a lot of Puerto Ricans in there. New York Ricans. We were all together. We didn't care about whether you was black or Spanish. We would all snap on each other all day, every day. But at the end of the day, some of my best friends that I would die with is black, Dominican also. And so, that was the beauty. And so now we have a platform that we trying to like promote what our accomplishments are. A lot of people don't know all the stuff that we have accomplished. And we try to do that every time. There's a date, there's an anniversary. We try to bring that to the forefront. There's nothing like a coquito, baby. When the winter comes, man, we suffer when we don't have these out here. Gives our little energy boost, and it also refreshes you too when it's hot. I think the Bronx is just like a lot of us blacks and Hispanics, we're judged without people getting to know us, and that's a bad thing because the Bronx is so beautiful, man. It's like I wouldn't, if I had to be reborn and they tell me, do you want to be born again somewhere else? I would say no, I want to be born right here. Because so much culture has come out of here. I think this is the poorest county in the United States. And so much culture has come out of the Bronx. And everyone is always biting our culture, culture vultures and all that. But we created hip hop from oppression here. We didn't create salsa, but we mastered salsa here. A lot of the biggest salseros were from here. The real 80s salsa is from here. The salsa that's being played forever is from here. We created freestyle music. That's one of the biggest music that started with hip hop. Italians and white people, they love this music. Sometimes they think they invented it, but the bebop, let's go back to bebop, to the 50s. A lot of that music came out of the Bronx. Jazz, a lot of the jazz came out of the Bronx. And bachata was reinvented here. A lot of people, don't understand that. When Aventura came into the bachata game, they're from the Bronx, mind you. I met with their road manager at the time. I didn't really know bachata, but their road manager, Platanito, he was like, yo, I want you to meet these guys, but I really didn't know what to do with them. So I passed, but I didn't even know about the music. But they changed bachata forever, as is a worldwide music. Before them, it was more like a country music, right? Then Prince Royce came and took the baton and went forward. I had Prince Royce in my house recording songs. Before he was in a group called Gino and Royce. But I had so many artists I couldn't dedicate. I would tell him, you need to leave the guy because the rapper was not as good and go solo. But he was loyal to him, but they was doing reggaeton. So he finally went solo, and look at his career. This guy's a world-known artist, He's from the Bronx. These are people from the Bronx. Mark Anthony, he's born in Harlem, raised in Harlem Hospital sometimes, but a lot of his time he was spending in the Bronx. La India, the Bronx. So witnessing all this culture, everything that was being birthed here. We created styles. We created, right over there is my junior high school. We didn't even have fashion. And it's crazy that after so many years as I'm older that I'm actually doing fashion, when we would wear other people's fashion and make it our own. The Lee jeans, the Adidas, this all came from the Bronx. This all started here. Of course it exploded, but it started here. And for so many years, and still, we don't reap the Bronx never reaps the benefits of all that money. There's never none of that money that comes back. All these entertainment companies, record labels that got filthy rich, you guys have never came back here and given money to the Bronx, to the economics of what's happening here, to the arts programs. Some of you guys might have, but I leave it up to the companies because they're the ones that suck the culture out of everybody and made all the money. And so seeing that the Bronx Hip Hop Museum is being built, that brings joy to my heart because it's well deserved. And I sat on some of those meetings in the beginning over 10 years ago, and I thought it was never gonna happen because there was a lot of infighting, but I'm so happy that they got it together and they broke ground, and we're gonna have a museum that represents the Bronx and represents us because we created hip hop. And get that straight. Don't get me wrong, Brooklyn added, Manhattan added, the Queens did their thing, but if it wasn't for the Bronx, none of that would have happened, you know?